Fiber to fabric. Clothes are one of the basic needs. These protect us from dust, insect bites, and also different kinds of weather conditions. The type of fabric we need depends on the climate of the place where we live. In summer, thin, light-colored cotton clothes are preferred. Cotton allows the movement of air and absorbs sweat. In winter, thick, dark-colored woolen clothes are preferred. Woolen traps our body heat and prevents it from escaping. It helps us to stay warm. Fabric and fibers. The material that is used to make clothing is called fabric. Fabric is made by weaving or knitting yarn. Many fibers are spun together to get yarn. Fibers can be classified into two main types. These are natural fibers and synthetic fibers. We get natural fibers from natural sources such as plants and animals. Cotton, jute, silk and wool are few natural fibers. Cotton and jute are obtained from plants and silk and wool from animals. We make synthetic fibers from chemicals. Some examples of synthetic fibers are nylon, polyester, acrylic and rayon. Animal fibers. We use two kinds of animal fibers to make clothes. These fibers are wool and silk. Wool is produced by the fleece, hair of sheep, goat, yak, camel and rabbits. Silk is produced by silkworm. Wool. Wool is used to make woolen clothes used in winters. It is light, soft, thick, durable, elastic and wrinkle-resistant fiber. Woolen fibers are also fire-resistant, chiefly composed of the animal protein. You know that the protein is a bodybuilding food. Some common wool-yielding animals are sheep, goat, camel, rabbit, yak and musk oxen. The fleece of sheep is spun to make yarn. The yarn is then weaved to make woolen clothes. Some major wool-producing states of our country are Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat. Characteristics of wool. Wool fibers readily absorb water and also release it. Due to having crimp, wool has the ability to stretch and then return to its natural length. It is very strong and durable. The wool fibers are strong and held together through much twisting and turning. This feature makes them long-lasting garments. Some wool-yielding animals. In our country, some common wool-producing animals are sheep. The sheep has thick coat or fleece on its body. Just like us, its body also has two types of fibers that form its fleece. One is the outer coarse, bared hair and another is fine, soft underhair close to the skin. The fine inner hair are used to produce wool. It has lifespan of about 7 years. Goat. Wool is also obtained from goat hair. Some common goat breeds of India are Kashmiri Gaddi, Chamba and Angora. Mohair is the fleece of the Angora goat found in hill areas such as Jammu and Kashmir. The underfur of Kashmiri goat is soft, which is used to produce cashmere wool. It is woven into fine shawls called pashmina shawls. Camel. Camel hair are also used to produce wool. A male camel yields about 12 to 15 kg and a female camel produces about 6 to 8 kg of wool in a year. Alpaca and llama, camel found in South America, yield wool which is very fine, soft and lustrous. Rabbit. Wool obtained from rabbit hair is very soft. Angora rabbit yields a very fine and soft wool. These wool fibers are very short and are usually blended with sheep's wool, silk or nylon to handle more easily. Yak. It lives in the high mountains like Tibet and Ladakh. Its undercoat is quite soft, which produces silky wool. Musk ox. It is similar to yaks but live in the Arctic tundra. Its thick coat with lengths of up to 1 meter makes it the longest of any animal in the world. The wool produced by musk ox is very lightweight and 8 times more warmer than wool. Production of wool. You have read about different kinds of wool-producing animals. Among all the different kinds of wool-producing animals, the most used animal to get wool is sheep. The process of wool production from sheep takes place in several steps. Rearing of sheep. The sheep is believed to be first domesticated in Asia. These can survive in tough climates and eat different types of grasses. These are several breeds of sheep in our country. These produce different quality of wool. Sheep are found in many regions of our country, from hills in Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal, Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, or the plains of Haryana, Punjab, Gujarat and Rajasthan. They move around in large groups called flocks. A group of sheep is called a herd. They are kept in sheds by their rearers. Their sheds should be airy and well ventilated, as they sweat more and catch cold very easily. The main food of sheep is grasses, leaves and grains. Shepherds take their sheep for grazing to various grass fields. Apart from grazing, sheep rearers also feed them on a mixture of pulses, corn, jowar and oil cakes, and provide them fresh water for drinking. Breeding of sheep. The sheep of desirable features like soft underhair, etc. are selected for reproduction. The process of selecting parent sheep for obtaining desirable baby sheep is called selective breeding. By the selection of parents, the sheep rearers get good breed of sheep. A female sheep produces 1 to 3 babies sheep at a time. Some Indian breeds of sheep are Lohi sheep, produces good quality wool and found in Rajasthan and Punjab. Bakharwal sheep, wool used for shawls, found in Jammu and Kashmir. Patanwadi sheep, yields hosiery wool, found in Gujarat. Shearing of wool. The process of removing fleece or hair from the body of sheep is called shearing. The person who shears a sheep is called shearer. Shearing is usually done in every spring. Spring is chosen because it is no longer cold and therefore the sheep can survive without its fleece. Shearing is done by hands using clippers or a pair of scissors. Machines are also used to shear the sheep as it is easy and fast. Animals are given thorough bath before shearing to remove the dirt and dust. The fleece has to be removed in one single piece. This requires a very skilled shearer. A good shearer might take less than 5 minutes to do shearing. Shearing does not hurt the sheep just as it does not hurt us while getting hair cut or a man shaving his beard. This is because the uppermost layer of the skin is dead and the hair of sheep continue to grow just as our hair grow. Processing of sheared wool. The sheared wool is processed further to get wool. The steps of processing in sequence are scouring. After shearing, the fleece is washed thoroughly in tanks to remove dust, dirt and grease from the hair. This process is called scouring. Machines are used for scouring the fleece nowadays. Sorting. Scouring is followed by sorting. It is done in factories where hair of different textures are separated or sorted. The small fluffy fibers are then picked out from the hair. The fibers are again scoured at this stage and dried. Grading. In grading, wool is grouped according to its length, color, texture and ease of drying. Dyeing. The color of natural fleece of sheep hair is black, brown and white. So the processed fibers are dyed in various colors depending on our choice. Drying. Wool is dried by putting rollers on it to squeeze out as much as water. Wool is now ready for further processing in mills. Spinning, weaving and knitting. The dried fibers are straightened, combed and rolled into yarns. The shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen clothes. The larger fibers are spun and knitted to make sweaters. Silk. Silk is an animal fiber produced by silkworms. It is a strong, shiny, lustrous and soft fiber used to make dress materials. Silk is a bad conductor of heat, so it is a good insulator. Due to this, silk clothes are cool in summer and warm in winter. Characteristic features of silk. Silk is a beautiful, smooth fiber. It is durable and high in strength. Silk fabrics have good absorbency. fabrics made from silk are comfortable in the summer and warm in the winter. Silk fabrics have only moderate resistance to wrinkling. Life cycle of silkworm. Silkworm is the common name for the silk-producing larva of a silk moth. The larva is not a worm at all, but a caterpillar or silkworm. The life cycle of silkworm encircles in the 4 stages. There are egg, caterpillar, larva, pupa and moth. The female silk moth lays 300 to 400 eggs at a time. Each egg is about the size of a pinhead. The female dies almost immediately after depositing the eggs. The larvae hatch in about 10 days and are about 0.6 centimeters long. Once hatched, a caterpillar or larvae emerge out and feeds on large quantities of mulberry leaves for 3 to 4 weeks. Larvae eat voraciously and grow fast. During this stage, they shed their skin 4 times, which is called molting. After 4 to 6 weeks, when the larva has achieved its maximum growth, it stops eating, changes color, and attaches itself to a twig, tree, or shrub. At this stage, it is called pupa. Now the pupa starts spinning the cocoon. In cocoon stage, caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fibers. The cocoon is secreted as a continuous silk fiber up to a mile long through special glands present in the silkworm's head. The formation of cocoon by pupa takes about a week's time. The further development of the moth continues inside the cocoon. When the moth comes out from the cocoon, the thread gets damaged. The silk is obtained by unraveling the cocoon. Sericulture. The cultivation of silkworms for the purpose of producing silk is called sericulture. It is a very old occupation in our country. The healthiest silkworms are selected for breeding. The female moth lays many eggs at a time. The first stage of silk production is the hatching of the silkworm eggs, which takes place in a controlled environment. Once hatched, they are placed under a layer of gauze and fed large quantities of chopped mulberry leaves. The cocoon stage is the desirable stage for the silk producers. If the adult moth were allowed to emerge from the cocoon naturally, it would secrete a chemical which would eat the cocoon and silk fiber will get damaged. Therefore, the silkworms are killed by dipping them in boiling water, steaming, or drying in an oven. Immersing in boiling water also loosens silk fibers. The silk fibers obtained by cocoons now undergo further steps in the silk processing factories. Sorting cocoons. The cocoons are sorted according to the color, size, shape, and texture, as these affect the final quality of the silk. Cocoons may range from white and yellow to grayish. Reeling the filament. Reeling is the process of unwinding the silk filaments from the cocoon. The silk filaments are very fine, so they are combined together to make a thread of raw silk. 3 to 10 strands are usually reeled at a time to produce the desired thickness of raw silk, which is known as reeled silk. The length of reeled silk fibers is 300 to 600 meters. Baling. The reeled silk is packed in small bundles called books, weighing 2 to 4.5 kg. These books are put into bales weighing about 60 kg. In this form, raw silk is transported to the silk mills for making silk fibers. Health hazards of sericulture. The production of silk is associated with several health problems. Some of these problems are: workers need to dip their hands frequently in boiling water to judge the silk threads have become soft to be extracted or not. This causes burning of skin, blisters, and open wound injuries. The open wounds are prone to several other skin infections and diseases. Silk extraction demands long hours of standing, 14 to 16 hours a day. Workers need to focus reeling the fine silk. This leads to problems like backache, spine disease, and eye disorders. Boiling of cocoons in big water tanks releases lots of fumes and vapors. This causes respiratory problems like asthma and bronchitis. Machines used for spinning and winding produce a lot of noise. This continuous working in such a noisy condition leads to hearing problems. Types of silk. The 4 varieties of natural silk are mulberry silk, tussar silk, muga silk, and eri silk. The most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. The silk fibers obtained from this moth are soft, lustrous, and elastic. There are more varieties of silk produced by the silk industry using different moths. These are charkha silk, chiffon, chignon, crepe, organza, satin, tabby silk, matka silk, and Murshidabad silk, etc. World silk production. China and India rank first and second respectively as the world's largest raw silk producers. In India, about 90% mulberry silk comes from Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. Some other states like Assam, Madhya Pradesh, and Orissa are also good producers of silk.